All right, everybody, today's video is going to be about the best budget vlogging lens for Sony full frame cameras, which in my opinion is the Tamron 17-28 f2.8 lens. I'm going to go ahead and throw this lens onto the camera now, and we're going to get into it. All right, before the lens was set at 24 millimeters, now we're gonna be at 17 millimeters, which there's my son. And I personally think it is the best budget vlogging lens you can get for a Sony full frame camera. Whether you're shooting on the a7 III, II, or you've upgraded to the a7S III, the FX3, that's what I'm currently using, and I have been loving it. And I've had this lens for over a year now, and it's probably the lens that is on my camera the most. It's just easy, it's small, it's compact, and it just works really well. All right, so first things first, I'm gonna go over some of the features that this lens has. Oh, there goes my son. Some of the features that this lens have, and I'm gonna list them out here for you. So this lens is specifically designed for Sony full frame cameras. Now you can use it on an APS-C size Sony camera because of Sony's ingenious E-mount and versatility with that mount, but you are gonna see a crop, obviously, with using it with that lens, or with that camera, sorry. Now, the max aperture is an f2.8, like I mentioned. It's got very good autofocus. I've never really had an issue using it for the past year and a half or so. And the minimum focus distance, if you're potentially looking at it for B-roll or for any other application, is 7.5 inches. And this is listed as the lightest lens in this focal range, weighing in at 14.8 ounces.
Newsflash.
All right, Future Angelo here, just with an update because I was just double checking on the most recent Sony PZ lens that they came out with, and that one actually ended up being just a tad lighter than the Tamron lens. The Sony PZ lens is, I think, 12.5 ounces, so coming in at 2 ounces lighter. The length of it is just under 4 inches. We're gonna go over a couple of factors why I think this is the best budget vlogging lens. And number one, we have got to start off with, obviously, the price. So this is a budget lens. Now I know Sony just recently came out with their 16-35 PZ lens f4, I believe it is. And a lot of people are talking about that lens being an awesome new everyday vlogging lens or travel lens, which I think it's a great lens as well. Like I would really love to have it, but you're still looking at about, I think the last time I checked, $1,200, $1,300 for that lens. And everything else within this price point or this focal range, 17-28, 16-35, I think there's another lens, 12-24 lens I think Sony just came out with. The really wide lenses, the wide zoom focal lengths, you're gonna see them listed here somewhere, but you can see the prices on all of those, and they're all about $1,000+. This lens is coming in at a very acceptable $700 if you can find it used, but I think brand new is right around $800. So as far as the budget lens, you're gonna be saving $200, potentially $300 on a vlogging lens that I think is just fine at 17 millimeters. You know, you're still gonna be wide enough to capture everything that you're gonna wanna capture. If you're using a Joby Gorilla Pod, or if you're using a PGY Tech Mantis pod that I have been sporting recently, you're still gonna be able to have further enough reach out to be able to get everything that you want to get in the frame. And honestly, can you really tell the difference between 16 and 17? And I don't know. If you really need the 16 for some very specific application, by all means, but if you're just making vlogs for everyday videos and you're not really doing anything special with it, why not save the extra money? The second reason why I think this is the best budget vlogging lens is the design. Now, it is just under 4 inches long, but the really special thing about this particular lens is that it's got an internal zoom barrel, which means that when you zoom in and zoom out, the length of the lens doesn't actually change at all, and it still has the same exact 4-inch footprint. Now, a lot of other lenses within this category here in this same focal length, you are going to have an extending lens barrel, which if you are using it for me, I've always found it that I like using this lens on a gimbal. That's where you're probably going to see the biggest application for this. So if you're shooting real estate, if you're running and gunning with a gimbal, getting those wide angle shots, then that's where you're going to see the biggest advantage for this particular lens. And that's what I have used it before in the past. And I've always had the nice, I guess, security that I can be able to zoom from my gimbal on, which you can do, by the way, if you didn't know that. But you can zoom with this lens from your gimbal. I use the DJI RS2. I've got the scroll reel. As long as you have the USB-C cord plugged into your camera, you are able to zoom, and I can actually zoom while using the gimbal and it not actually destroy the weight distribution of the camera, because the lens actually gets, the barrel actually gets closer to the camera, and whereas when it's at 17 millimeters, the lens is actually further away from it. And you can actually see that here in some of the video that I've shot previously, but that's just a really nice feature. So if you are looking for kind of a real estate video and you want the ability to zoom while still on a gimbal and not have to put the gimbal down, rebalance it, and all this other stuff, this is actually a perfect lens for you. All right, the third reason why I think this is a great lens for vlogging is the weight. Coming in at 14.8 ounces, it makes it manageable on pretty much any type of tripod or mini tripod that you're gonna be carrying around, whether that's a Joby Gorilla Pod or the Mantis Pro Pod here, Mantis Pro tripod, whatever it's called. It makes it manageable. It makes it it makes it comfortable to use. And that's one of the biggest things when you are vlogging or when you are traveling with a camera and you want to capture your adventures, or you just want to shoot some family videos, things like that. You want to be able to have it accessible and not have that as a barrier to hitting the record button and creating something. I think the weight and the design of this lens makes it really feasible and lowers the barrier for you to actually just grab the camera, hit the record button, and create something and capture something fun, whether that's of your kids, of yourself, of you and your family, you and your spouse. It makes it just really manageable. And that's always what I come back to. You know, specs and details and features are always cool, but it's the stories that really sell. Features tell, stories sell. And when you figure out the applications of this lens and you see that it lowers the barrier to actually creating something, I always think that's feasible. Are you really gonna use something that's heavier that you just start to feel and resent that you actually have a heavier lens, whereas you could have just gotten a lighter lens for a lot less money and created something more fun and created more videos and created more stuff on a daily basis and really enjoyed that and really got into the habit of creating something every day. So that is my 3 reasons why I think this is a great budget, the best budget vlogging lens for Sony full frame cameras. If you like this video, go ahead and drop a like down on the bottom. That does definitely help me out and it gives me some feedback from what you guys actually appreciate. And if you want to see any other videos based off of some of the gear that I've got around here for my media business, please let me know. Drop that in the comments. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.